Hey guys, welcome back to the Gorbis Grand Cross channel. Today we're going to be doing a run through of the Labyrinth, which is fairly free to play. I've just showing my characters here so that you just know what the selections are going to be. Unfortunately, I don't have Awakened Roxy, who is one of the better characters for it, which kinda really sucks. But if you can get her, then you can get her, like, that's good for you. These are just they're kind of like constellations. Essentially they're just permanent buffs that you can buy from the shops, and they apply to every run that you do in the future. And they're really helpful, but I only really recommend buying the attack and the HP ones because the defense ones are kind of useless, to be honest. I'm gonna do it with the clear bonus just because, like, makes the process a bit easier. I'm not gonna pick any of the bonus characters. The characters I would recommend starting with are either Matrona or Derriere, just because they're the easiest to use through the first floor, and the common theme throughout all these characters is a character with buff removal, because it's very prominent in the first and last boss. So you might end up having to keep that first character through the entire labyrinth, which can kind of suck. But there is a character that you can get, which is Blue Mono, who has a buff removal, and she is so good. She's definitely worth picking if you find her at any point. So I've just sped up this footage here so that it's not too much of a task to watch, I guess. I didn't want it to be, like, really annoying to watch through this entire video, because, like, it's definitely helpful to have a guide for this sort of thing, because you can get that 30 gems and you can get the free barn skin, which we will look at the end of this video. Now, a common theme you might also notice with the team I'm going with mainly females, because there are a lot of buffs throughout the labyrinth that you can get that apply specifically to female characters. Like, there's a female attack buff one, and if you get that, definitely pick that, because the easiest team I found to go with is female humans, because there's a character, Blue Mono, who I think I talked about earlier, but I'm very forgetful. So Blue Mono is very helpful because she has a buff removal card, and she can replace those characters like Blue Derriere and Red Matrona. I think it's Red Matrona. And she can do pretty decent damage to the bosses. So yeah, I'm just kind of going through it here. This is obviously pre-recorded because I'm voicing over it right now. But yeah, as a whole, the labyrinth is definitely, I would say, easier than the past labyrinths, and that's the mono there. That's the Blue Mono that is really good, and honestly probably one of the best characters to have for this. But yeah, as I was saying, the labyrinth is definitely the easiest one. The labyrinth for this season is definitely the easiest one out of all of the labyrinths that we've had in the past, so it's really not going to be too difficult for you to do. Obviously, depending on what characters you have and what characters you can use, because if you're missing certain characters, like maybe Blue Mono, if you're missing her, then that's gonna suck, because it's gonna make it really difficult for you to do. And now, the reason you need buff removal for this first boss here, this Chandler boss, is because he gets a buff that makes it so you can't kill him until you remove it. So you need a buff removal to get rid of that so that you can actually kill him, which I had two of in my team, Matrona and Mono. So yeah. And something I also noticed about this labyrinth is that you get a lot of alts. Like, you get a lot of alt gauge or alt level. Which, I mean, is fine. It's not that big a deal. Like, I think in this run through of it, I end up getting all my characters 6/6. Which, I mean, it doesn't really matter. But yeah. So, yeah. What else can I say about this labyrinth? I don't know. It's not hard. Like I was saying, it's really not that hard to do. You just kind of got to get lucky, as it is with literally every labyrinth. You always just have to get lucky and get the right characters. I think the first floor is a bitch. The first floor is really difficult sometimes, because all of the character selections on that first floor just suck ass. And it's really bad. It's really not fun. You might find yourself having to repeat that first floor like 3 or 4 times, but generally you should be fine. I got pretty lucky this run, but I've already cleared out the whole shop, I think, so it doesn't really matter to me too much. And after you get that first clear, it's really not hard to clear it more times, because you've got the clear bonus, and also clearing out the shop and grinding the labyrinth this season is so much easier than previous seasons, because you get so much of the currency for the shop just by doing the first, second, and third floor bosses. I think you get up to 300 on the first, up to 500 on the second, and up to like 750 on the last. So you can get the full free barn outfit in one run if you're lucky. Yeah, so there in that shop, I got the option to get the defense constellation type thing. I didn't, because the defense one is easily the most useless out of all of them. It's definitely best to go with the attack one if you have the option. And I think on your first run, or on your first few runs at least, it's definitely worth just buying those and just making sure you have 20 to buy those if they appear in your shop. So yeah, that Cusack boss is also very, very easy. First turn he is going to hit you a bit hard, but you should be able to kill him second turn, because he lowers his own defense. Not sure if it's defense or defense related stats, but he lowers his own defense, so it's really not that difficult to get that one done. But yeah, I don't know, it's not a hard labyrinth. It's an easy 30 gems and some free costumes. And if you didn't get the costumes for Purgatory Meliodas on the last labyrinth, they are available again in this one. So that is definitely very good for anyone who missed out on those. Another character that is really, really helpful, not a necessity for this labyrinth, but very helpful definitely, is Green Brynhilda. I'm gonna go with that. She's super high damage, and she has a detonate card, which is just generally really helpful for dealing decent damage to bosses. And yeah, like, just generally a very good character for, dealing damage and just getting it done quickly. And it really shouldn't take you that long. Like, this run, I think in total took me about half an hour, which evidently isn't that short of an amount of time in the grand scheme of things. That is a short amount of time in the grand scheme of things. Ignore me. I'm being an idiot. No, I mean, like, in the grand scheme of grinding in Grand Cross, half an hour is not very much time, especially for something like 30 gems and a free UR set of costumes, or 2 if you don't have the melee one. I mean, to clear the shop, I think it took me like an hour and a half, which is, for everyone, 2 sets of costumes and a full thing of, or 20 LR pendants. Skadi's also another good one. She has buff removal as well. Now, the thing with this boss is, it's very easy. So the other reason you need buff removal, every ult gauge he gets a buff or 2. I don't actually know how many, but he gets a buff or 2. And they increase his damage a lot. So, definitely very, very good to have a buff removal character for that. So yeah, really not a hard Labyrinth season this season. I'll go through all the costumes and stuff. Here's the melee one. It's a very nice costume if you don't already have it. And here's the barn one. I love this barn costume so much. Really nice. And there's the cut-in. Kinda glad they didn't bring the mile one back. It's kinda cool, but the helmet looks goofy as fuck, to be completely honest. Anyways, that's the whole video. If you stayed until this point, like, you're a real one and you should just subscribe. Stay blessed, y'all. See you later.